My Airbnb host texted me at 3 a.m. Are you alone in there? I booked the cabin because the reviews were perfect. 28 5-star ratings, all saying the same thing. Peaceful, secluded, exactly what you need to unplug. I'm a freelance designer who works remotely, and after 3 months of back-to-back deadlines, I needed somewhere quiet to finish my portfolio. The cabin was 2 hours outside Seattle, buried in pine trees with no neighbors for miles. David, the host, met me at the property around noon, showed me how everything worked, pointed out the wood stove and the backup generator. He mentioned the attic was locked because he stored personal items up there, but everything else was mine to use. The place looked exactly like the photos. Spotless hardwood floors, huge windows overlooking the forest, a kitchen stocked with coffee and snacks. I spent the afternoon working, made dinner, and fell asleep around 11 p.m., feeling more relaxed than I had in months. My phone lit up at 3:08 a.m. A text from David. Are you alone in there? I stared at the message, my brain foggy with sleep, trying to understand why he'd ask that. Before I could type a response, I heard it. Footsteps directly above me. Slow, deliberate steps moving across the attic floor. My entire body went rigid. David had said the attic was locked, that he was the only one with a key. The footsteps stopped, then started again, pacing back and forth like someone walking the length of the room. My phone buzzed with an incoming call, and I answered it before the first ring finished, my hand shaking so badly I almost dropped it. David's voice came through, panicked and breathless. Listen to me very carefully. Don't make any noise. Don't turn on any lights. The previous guest never checked out. We've been searching for him for 6 days, and we just got an alert from the security system. He's in the attic right now. The footsteps stopped the second David said that, like whoever was up there had heard him through my phone. I pressed my hand over my mouth to keep from making a sound, my heart hammering so hard I could feel it in my throat. David kept talking, his words tumbling out in a rush. His name is Owen Pritchard. He was supposed to check out last Thursday, but he never returned the key. We thought he'd just driven off with it. People do that sometimes. But his car was found abandoned at a trailhead 5 miles from the property. Police searched the cabin twice and didn't find anything. We had no idea he'd found a way into the attic. I wanted to ask how that was possible, how someone could hide in an attic for 6 days without being detected, but I couldn't risk speaking. The ceiling above me creaked, and I watched a small shower of dust drift down from the boards. He was moving again, slowly, like he was trying to figure out where I was in the room below him. David was still on the phone, and I could hear him talking to someone else in the background, giving them directions to the property. Police are 20 minutes out, he said to me. I'm 15 minutes away. Can you get outside? Is there a way to leave without him hearing you? I looked at the front door across the room. It was old, heavy wood with hinges that squeaked. I'd noticed it earlier when I'd stepped outside to bring in firewood. The bedroom where I was sleeping had a window, but it was painted shut, and I'd need something to break it open. My keys were on the kitchen counter. My shoes were by the front door. I was trapped in a sleeping bag wearing pajamas with a stranger pacing above my head, and any movement I made would tell him exactly where I was. That's when I heard the scratching sound. Slow, methodical scratching coming from the corner of the ceiling near the heating vent. He wasn't pacing anymore. He was working on something. I whispered into the phone, barely audible. He's doing something to the vent. David went silent for 3 seconds. Then his voice came back tight with fear. Get out of that room right now. The vents connect directly to the attic. That's how he's been moving around the house. I threw off the sleeping bag and ran for the door, abandoning any pretense of silence. Behind me, I heard the vent cover hit the floor with a metallic clang, then the sound of someone dropping down into the room. I didn't look back. I hit the front door, yanked it open, and sprinted into the darkness in my bare feet. The gravel driveway tore up my soles, but I kept running, the cold October air burning my lungs. I made it to my car and locked myself inside, fumbling with my keys while watching the cabin door. A figure appeared in the doorway, backlit by the interior lights I'd left on. He just stood there, completely still, watching my car. He didn't chase me. He didn't need to. He'd been watching me sleep for 3 nights. David arrived 12 minutes later with 2 police cars right behind him. They found Owen Pritchard in the attic surrounded by a nest of blankets, stolen food, and a laptop connected to the cabin's Wi-Fi, showing a live feed from cameras he'd installed in every room. The bedroom vent had scratches around the edges from previous nights when he'd climbed down to stand next to my bed. They found my hairbrush in his pile of belongings, along with clothing I'd left in the dryer and hadn't noticed was missing. The diary they recovered had entries about routines, sleep patterns, and plans for when she's ready to stay forever. I never went back inside that cabin.